Welcome to Hoops Archives, where we focus on sharing real and interesting player stories on and off the NBA court. Subscribe to our channel to help you discover a more interesting NBA. Who could have imagined that a 29-year-old All-Star and former #1 pick would already be forced to the brink of retirement? After going through an offseason where no team showed interest, Ben Simmons' agent chose to part ways with him, which most likely means he will bid farewell to the NBA. Once hailed as the most versatile player since LeBron James, with height, speed, reaction, strength, and athleticism all at the top level of the league, now at 29, he is mocked by fans as better off retiring. Although many say Simmons' ending is a waste of talent and self-destruction, the fact that he played just over 400 games and still earned more than $200 million in contracts already makes him a true life winner among NBA players. Looking back at Ben Simmons' basketball journey, born in Melbourne, Australia in 1996, with a father, Dave Simmons, who was a legendary star in Australia's NBL, and a mother, Julie, who was a competitive swimmer, he seemed destined to be gifted with athletic talent from birth. His privileged family conditions allowed him to receive professional basketball training from a young age, and he displayed incredible talent as a child. Just how exaggerated was Simmons' basketball talent? At age 7, he began representing the Newcastle Hunters U12 team in official games. At 13, Ben Simmons led Whitefriars College to the Australian Year 7 Division 1A championship and was named MVP, showing his dominance over peers. At 15, he was selected to represent Australia at the 2012 FIBA U17 World Championship, helping the team win silver. That same year, his parents sent him to Montverde Academy in the US to continue his high school basketball career. He once possessed extraordinary talent. In high school, when playing alongside D'Angelo Russell at one of the strongest high school teams ever, Montverde Academy, he was a completely different level of player. At that time, he was a monster. As a 6'10" big man, his three-quarter court sprint was clocked at 3.05 seconds. For comparison, Derrick Rose was 3.05, Russell Westbrook and Dwayne Wade were 3.08, John Wall was 3.14. And Simmons was just a high schooler, while the others were NBA elites. With such outstanding physical gifts, Simmons could play from the 1 to the 5, driving, passing, defending, almost everything. So in high school competition, Simmons was essentially playing on a different dimension. His court vision was always excellent, averaging 4 assists. What made him unbelievable was his relentless ability to attack the rim, along with a trace of leadership. He stood out among a group of boys. He averaged 28 points and 11.9 rebounds, was the team's core, craved responsibility. Ben Simmons was named High School Player of the Year, leading Montverde to 3 straight national titles. Everything pointed to him becoming the cornerstone of an NBA franchise. Individually, he won the Naismith High School Player of the Year and McDonald's All-American MVP, and was ranked the #1 high school player in the nation. Moving into college, it took just 1 season for him to become an NCAA star. At LSU, Simmons again had no equal. As a freshman, in just his 5th NCAA game, he erupted for 43 points, 14 rebounds, and 7 assists. Time and again, his unbelievable play drew comparisons to LeBron James. He averaged 19.2 points, 11.8 rebounds, and 4.8 assists, earning the USBWA National Freshman of the Year award. On January 6, 2016, Magic Johnson tweeted, "LSU's Ben Simmons is the best all-around player I've seen since LeBron James came out of high school straight to the NBA." LeBron himself said he didn't mind the comparison, calling the 6'10" playmaking forward with incredible vision and unbelievable talent. On January 14, 2016, Barack Obama, during a speech at McKinley High School, spotted Simmons in the crowd, then still just a freshman at LSU, and jokingly called him an okay basketball player, drawing cheers.
You got an okay basketball player named Ben Simmons in the house, so...
Soon after, the Philadelphia 76ers, holding the number 1 pick in the 2016 NBA draft, selected Simmons without hesitation. Although his biggest weakness was shooting, Philadelphia's front office believed shooting could be developed, but raw talent was rare and priceless. Simmons missed his entire rookie season in 2017 due to a foot injury, meaning 2018 was his true rookie year. In his debut season, he averaged 15.8 points, 8.1 rebounds, and 8.2 assists, winning Rookie of the Year. In NBA history, only 2 rookies have averaged at least 15 points, 8 rebounds, and 8 assists, Oscar Robertson and Ben Simmons. Simmons' rookie year showcased his truly multidimensional gifts. It took LeBron 14 seasons before his averages reached 8 rebounds and 8 assists. In fact, only 13 players in NBA history had ever done that. Without question, as Rookie of the Year, he carried Philadelphia's hopes for revival. What followed became one of the most dramatic declines in NBA history. Scouting reports had already flagged Simmons' shooting as his biggest problem. The more attention he got, the worse the problem appeared. At LSU, he attempted only 3 threes, making 1. In his final high school year, he made just 15 threes, with a free throw percentage below 60%. But all this was overshadowed by the next LeBron James label. Most scouts believed NBA training would fix his shooting. After all, many rookies were poor shooters early on. Simmons' talent meant it shouldn't be a problem. Clearly, entering the NBA, this was the area he needed most to improve. But after missing his first season with injury, instead of using the time to develop his shot, a year later Simmons was still unable to shoot. His form looked bizarre. He held the ball high with both hands, at first appearing like a right-handed shot, but then twisting and releasing with his left. The motion looked completely disconnected. It wasn't until his 3rd season that Simmons made his first career three-pointer. In his rookie year, he attempted 12 threes, all misses. From 16 feet to the three-point line, he attempted just 30 shots. By comparison, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander took 200 shots from that range during the 2024-25 season. So defenses packed the paint, deliberately leaving Ben Simmons open for jump shots, which would ultimately become a major problem for the 76ers. At that point, though, his future still looked bright. In 2018, Philadelphia won 52 games, and in the first-round playoff series against the Miami Heat, Simmons became the first rookie since Magic Johnson to record a triple-double in the postseason. Although the 76ers lost to the Celtics in the second round, everything indicated that rookie Ben Simmons seemed to have limitless potential. Yet Kobe didn't stop urging him. After Philadelphia's loss to the Celtics, Kobe again said Simmons must develop his jumper. Because in that series, his shooting weakness was relentlessly exposed, drawing ridicule and criticism. But the proud Simmons again ignored Kobe's advice. He not only skipped working on his jumper that offseason, but even stopped taking shots in games. Frustrated, Kobe said in a 2019 Australian interview, he's got to get a jump shot, because if not, he will regret it when his career is over. Kobe even used Jason Kidd as an example. Kidd also struggled with shooting early, but later transformed into a reliable outside shooter. But Simmons was not grateful at all, said he had his own way of playing and knew how to play. So, after ignoring Kobe's advice twice in a row, Simmons ultimately paid a heavy price. Without shooting ability, he gradually became incompatible with the small ball era. So where did the problem lie? Was it simply because Ben Simmons never learned how to shoot? In some ways, yes, but the deeper reasons went much further. From his first to his 4th year, Simmons showed lack of progress in every aspect. His averages in scoring, assists, rebounds, and field goal percentage were almost identical year after year. And his advanced metrics told the story even more clearly. His PR stayed about the same, but his VORP, win shares per 48 minutes, and plus-minus all got worse from his rookie year to his fourth year. Normally, young players become more efficient after several seasons. Simmons went the opposite way. On numbers alone, Simmons' fourth season still looked very good. He earned 15 first-place votes and finished second in Defensive Player of the Year voting, behind only Rudy Gobert. 3 straight All-Star selections, 2 first-team All-Defense nods, so in the summer of 2019, Philadelphia had no hesitation giving him a 5-year, $170 million max contract. So when Simmons signed that deal, people naturally expected him to work hard and train to live up to it. But for years past, his shooting was still embarrassingly bad. 76ers fans had enough. They booed him in games, making clear they could not accept such a lack of professionalism. The 2021 season made things even worse. 76ers was the #1 seed in the East, but in the playoffs, Simmons stopped driving to the rim or attempting any kind of shot. The consequences of never working on his shooting came back in a new form. In the regular season, Simmons shot 61% from the free throw line. Against the Hawks, he suddenly shot 15-4-45, just 33.3%. How afraid of shooting was Simmons? During the 2021 playoffs, still under COVID-19 protocols, any player who had contact with a positive case was barred from playing. A team masseuse was suspected of infection, and the league asked who had been in contact with her. Everyone on the Sixers denied it, it was just procedure anyway. But only Ben Simmons was unusually honest in admitting that he had indeed come into contact with her. As a result, less than 10 hours before Game 7 against Atlanta, Simmons was ruled ineligible. His teammates suspected Simmons hadn't actually seen the masseuse at all, he just didn't want to play. Because at that point, Simmons was terrified of shooting. In the last 3 critical games of the series, he attempted just 4, 6, and 4 shots. As the team's supposed core, he averaged fewer than 5 attempts per game. In the series, Simmons took 35 free throws and made only 14. For a guard, 40% from the line is unacceptable. But what hurt Simmons most was this: both he and the masseuse later tested negative. His plan fell apart, and he had no choice but to play. Then came the iconic moment. In Game 7, with 3:35 left, Simmons received the ball under the basket, faked past Danilo Gallinari, and in front of him was only Trae Young, who was 9 inches shorter, with the rim right above Simmons' head. Anyone else would dunk it, at worst draw a foul, but Simmons passed the ball. Coach Doc Rivers benched him, and the Sixers lost to the Hawks. That was his last game for Philadelphia. Mentally, he collapsed. Throughout the series, his shooting percentage was under 30%. He was blasted nationwide, called a coward, a choker, too scared to shoot. One might have thought the criticism would motivate him, but instead, Simmons' willingness to shoot only sank further. He requested a trade from Philadelphia, but the team didn't rush. So what did Simmons do? He skipped training camp, was seen at practice with a phone in his pocket. And even when fully healthy, he sat out the entire 2022 season. A max contract had been staked on his future. But the story had no happy ending. Eventually, Simmons was traded to the Brooklyn Nets in the James Harden deal. With the Nets, his back injuries piled up. Over the past 3 years, he played only 108 games. As of today, he has only 422 NBA games in total. And yet, the honors and contract money Simmons earned in his first 4 years already surpassed 90% of players. One could even say, if he had just worked harder, the balance of the NBA might have shifted because of him. But in reality, after being cut loose by the Clippers, he let himself go completely. Daily life became gaming, fishing, or parties and events. Basketball and his career seemed irrelevant. Online, one question persists: why couldn't Simmons even develop the most basic shooting ability in the NBA? The answer lies in his past. As a kid, Simmons loved Australian rules football, which emphasized running and passing. Deep down, he never liked attacking directly. With 5 siblings, a wealthy and protective family, Simmons grew up in comfort. Kids from such backgrounds rarely step outside their comfort zone. He openly said he preferred to do what he was good at: organizing, rebounding, layups, finishing near the rim. When asked about improving his jumper, he dodged, even instructing his agent to warn reporters not to bring it up. Every offseason, he'd post videos of himself hitting jumpers in practice. But in real games, he wouldn't shoot. Too afraid of fans' criticism, too unwilling to do what he wasn't good at. The less he shot, the less he dared. Eventually, he stopped altogether. At that point, it wasn't just technical, it was psychological. In 2022, Simmons admitted on a podcast that he suffered from IPS, a mental condition causing muscle tightening and loss of motion control. He said every summer he trained his jumper and shot well, but once in real games, he forgot his form. In Simmons' words, all of it stemmed from the trauma of Game 7. The 76ers never helped him, leaving him stuck in a dark mental space he never escaped. Had this been 20 years earlier, in an era less reliant on threes, Simmons' athleticism, defense, and rebounding could have earned him a tough guy reputation. But in 2025's offseason, Simmons didn't post a single workout picture. Now the Knicks are rumored to have interest, but Simmons doesn't care anymore, even his agent left. A player once compared to LeBron James, to exit at age 29, in his prime, like this, it's truly a pity. Fortunately, he once secured an NBA max contract in his career, and for him, that's probably enough.